Can y'all hear me? Well, if we want to sit down and have a seat, we'll get started. Wow, that was quick. We're going to work through Genesis. Start at the beginning. I remember being a kid and hearing this Neil Armstrong quote that went along the lines of something like, you missed the moon landing by 3 inches, no big deal. You missed the moon launch by 3 inches. You missed the moon by however many 100,000 miles. So important to get off to a good start. And another thing, the reason I've gotten so I think this is important is I think we tend to fragment the Bible into like 66 different books and make them fragmented. When in reality, if God is sovereign and He's in control, then I think sometimes it helps to look at it as one continuous story. The author little a changes over time throughout the Bible, but the author big A has been the same from the beginning. So, and we can interact as much as y'all want. I like to facilitate a conversation, not stand up here and yap too much. But background, author is Moses. He's and obviously the stuff he's writing, the story he's telling here in chapter 1 is he was not alive to see. It's been passed down through generations of his family to him. He is the leader of the Hebrew people, the Israelites, and he's writing this stuff down for them as they're going into, getting ready to go in and take the promised land. And it's a narrative. It's a story. We have different kinds of literature, and so we expect them to behave accordingly. And so this is a historical narrative from written down by a Hebrew man to his people, explaining to them where they came from, where they're going, which is into the promised land when he's writing this stuff down. And of course, he's got a bunch of instructions in those first 5 books that we call the Pentateuch, which is really one historical narrative written by the same author. So we can use this text to argue about old earth versus new earth. The order things came to be. We can use it to dispute the Big Bang Theory, but I don't think any of that was on the original author's mind. I think he was telling a historical narrative to his people about where they'd come from, where they were going, what they were to do when they get there. But it is the name right there, the Genesis means in the beginning. And so this shouldn't take us very long if we could turn to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. And we'll get started. And this morning, I'll read from New American Standard. I don't know if you're on your phone, or digital device, if that helps, but I'll take off out of New American Standard. And we'll just get going. Verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And so right off the bat, we're also going to see that, we get down there in verses 6 through 8, and he's going to create the heavens. That doesn't mean that he created it again. In the original syntax, this is just going to be like the title. Think of verse 1 as the title. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and now we're going to tell you how he did it. And right on. Everybody good there? That's a good title? Okay. The earth was, verse 2, the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the surface of the waters. And again, we're talking ancient language here, that pretty much jumped over to Greek and then to Latin and then to us. So, we don't have good, we don't always have good words to translate. Ronnie knows this from messing around with the Greek a lot. It's, we do the best we can, but some of that stuff we'll talk through. But this one's kind of funny to me. The earth was formless and void and dark. So the earth was invisible and it did not exist. And again, I'm not here to talk about like evolution theory or, what was out there in the cosmos and happened. But we know that at this point it was not there. What we call the earth was not there. And Spirit of God, of course, is there. And let's go back to verse 1, sorry. In the beginning, God. I've done like youth ministry vocationally, and I work for Fellowship of Christian Athletes now, so I talk to young people a lot, and we hammer this verse right here, in the beginning, God. Like, we all need to start with that, and we'll get into it more later, but in the beginning, God. We all, as human beings, Christians for sure, need to start with that statement. Who's there in the beginning? It does not say in the beginning Jason, in the beginning Will. It says in the beginning God. So we as believers, I think it's very, very important that we consider that statement first. In the beginning God. Okay, keep going. Spirit of God is moving over the surface of the waters. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. Okay, if we can start with in the beginning God, and then, here's another bullet point we can write down. First God says it, then he does it. That'll be the order throughout this story, and we need to hang on to that phrasing. God will say it, then he will do it. And then what's the third thing he does there? He calls it good. In the beginning, God, and then the other piece we can put together is who says what's good? This is going to be the issue. This is the prime issue moving forward in the story. And how does story work? We have a main character. We learned a while ago in the beginning. Is the main character me? Or am I central to the story? Or any of these other characters that are going to get named? No. God's the main character. We have a plot.